and it triggered an ability in me that I never knew I had. I am a shapeshifter and I can hear thoughts. I can wish someone who has done evil bad and it will happen to the person. And yes, Ebuka, I wished you madness, and since you are guilty, you were heavily affected. 5 good months has passed since Ebuka ran out of the house mad, with Ego not knowing where he ran to. Ego still in the house and have taken few measures to look for Ebuka, yet she couldn't find him. On that fateful day, Ego felt a terrible headache, which made her visit the same clinic that her late friend Neka gave birth. She arrived and was waiting to see the doctor. Titi, the nurse who attended to Neka on the day she gave birth, was the one on duty. As she saw Ego, she became tense. As she recognized her, she thought to herself, what in the world is this woman doing here? Hope she didn't find out that her friend's baby is alive and she's with me. Well, that's her own. I have taken over and that baby is mine, and that is final. Nothing, nobody can do anything about it. Unbeknown to Nostiti, Ego could hear her thoughts and she was listening to everything. She was so shocked and couldn't believe what she just heard. She thought of a better way to approach this issue and still keep her ability under wrap. Since it was all in Nostiti's thoughts, she devised a means to approach the matter. Ego approached Nostiti and said, I came here for my late friend's daughter. Where is she? The nurse wanted to argue, and Nostiti said, what are you talking about? Please, madam, if you don't have anything doing in this clinic, you can leave. Ego looked back and looked at her again, and she said, I know my friend's baby is alive, and I know you have her. I am here for her. Or do you want the clinic to hear about what people like you do? Immediately, the nurse tried to hold her mouth and told her to keep her tone down, that they should talk in a low tone. They moved to the side and Nurse Titi told her that she is very sorry. They all thought the baby didn't make it, as the baby wasn't responding after birth. The baby was declared dead with her mother. The news was announced and everyone left the hospital. The mother's body was deposited in the morgue. When she came in to carry the baby to prepare her for the coffin, she realized the baby had a pulse, and she said to herself, what is going on here? At last, God has decided to bless her this way, since she had been childless for over 10 years now. She prepared a doll baby for the baby's coffin and took the baby home, and since then, the child is hers. Ego was so speechless. She didn't know what to say, and she said, how do I know you didn't kill my friend for this purpose? The nurse started crying and said she never did that, but Ego could hear her thoughts and she understood that the nurse was being honest. The nurse was innocent. Ego wept bitterly all over for her late friend again. Ego said, but the baby has a father, and Nurse Titi responded, a father who do not want her. I heard you speaking that day. Ego said, you are right, but that doesn't justify what you did. This is a crime. I want the baby. Nurse Titi pleaded with Ego not to take the baby away from her. Ego family said, this baby is the last memory of my friend, and she has a father who happens to be my husband, and she doesn't know where he is. The nurse responded, husband? Ego said, never mind. It's a long story, but her father is my husband, and this baby needs to be with her real father. hoping her father still wants her. Nostiti responded, "If her father wants her, then I will let her go, though it's very painful because I bonded with her." Ego made the necessary arrangements with Nostiti, and she carried the baby, who is now 3 years old, home. 5 months has gone by since Ebuka ran out of the house mad. His family took him to a well-renowned juju priest who has kept him in his house and treated him to get better. Sometimes Ebuka gets better and sometimes he relapses. This time he looks a lot better, and the juju priest told him that he has to tone the spirit of Nneka, and also told him that his daughter is alive. Alive? Ebuka screamed with shock. "You have to look for her, seek for her forgiveness, and be a father in her life if you want to get better once and for all." Ebuka cried like never before. He set out to look for his child, as the juju priest did not tell him where to find the baby. One day, Ebuka decided to go back to his house where he was living with Ego. As he knocked with fear, Ego opened the door, and lo and behold, Ebuka dropped on his knee, asking for forgiveness. Ego stared at him with compassion and let him in. Ebuka narrated to Ego where he has been all this while and asked her for the second time, "What are you?" Ego stared at Ebuka compassionately and started her story. "My story began with when I was born. My mother told me I could never bathe with hot water, and I was born on the 14th month as opposed to the usual 9 months. I have never bathed with hot water, but on the night Nneka died, I bathed with hot water out of curiosity and heartbreak, and it triggered an ability in me that I never know I had. I am a shapeshifter, and I can hear thoughts. I can wish someone who has done evil bad, and it will happen to the person. And yes, Ebuka, I wished you madness, and since you are guilty, you were heavily affected." Ebuka went on his knees again, pleading. As he was pleading, the little girl came out, her eyes a mixture of love and hate. Ebuka stared at her and could see a second reflection of himself and Nneka, her late mother. He murmured, "Is she my daughter?" Ego responded, "What do you think?" He embraced the little girl with tears in his eyes and pleaded for forgiveness. Ego embraced 2 of them and told Ebuka she has forgiven him. Ebuka, with a joyous heart, accepted the child, and 3 of them became a beautiful, happy home. The moral lesson of this story emphasizes on the power of forgiveness and redemption. Despite the pain and betrayal experienced by Ego and Nneka, they ultimately find healing and happiness through forgiveness. Ego's ability to forgive Ebuka despite the harm he caused highlights the transformative nature of compassion and understanding. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed our video, please subscribe to the channel and don't forget to share this story with your family and your friends. Till we see you again in our next story. Goodbye.